Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I am CallMeNakomi and welcome. This is CallMeNakomi World, guys. I so appreciate you as always coming back and meeting me here on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys basically see this show. I so much appreciate you guys coming by. And I hope you're ready for a great episode. I'm going to be covering today Wheel of Time, Season 2, Episode 8, the final episode. So we're going to be going over this episode, and I'm just going to be basically recapping the whole season. So I hope you're ready for it, and I appreciate you guys for coming by wherever you see me, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other places that you're going to come to see me and get this great entertainment content. Today, we're going over that episode, but also, please, when this season is over, when this episode is over, please come on back. I'm going to be having other things I'm going to review. I'm going to be reviewing the Expanse series on TV, the TV series. I read the books also, but I love the TV series. So I'm going to be going over that and reviewing episode by episode from season 1. And I'm also going to be reviewing my favorite author's book series. She has several series, of course. She has several books, plenty of books. I'm talking about Octavia E. Butler. She's my favorite author of all time. Right there, right below Robert Jordan. I love Robert Jordan, but Octavia E. Butler was someone who absolutely inspired me to write and to basically be a creator. So I'm going to be reviewing her books. I'm going to be starting off with Lilith's Brood, the first book, which is called Dawn. It's a great book series. I'm also going to be reviewing her other books, Kindred. I'm going to be going over her Earthseed, Earthseed series. So please come on by, and I hope you enjoy those if you stop on by with me and vibe with me and get some more great internet content. You know what I mean? So, great entertainment content. Also, though, please understand that I am so multifaceted. I love a lot of different things. So another thing that I'm going to speak about, and that, as you guys have probably already noticed, I'm going to be covering sports stuff. I have 2 sports channels, Call Me a Sports Fan and Lakers in the Other 29. But until those channels really start to get picked up, I'm going to be covering those sports content here at CallMeNakomi. So please come on by, check it out. I know you guys out there love sports. Don't tell me that fantasy people only love fantasy and sports people only love sports. They all come together, guys. They all come together and provide this great world of content and entertainment that we have, and I hope that you come on by. Even later on today, I'm going to be covering the Laker game against the Kings tonight. It happens at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to come back for the post game, and maybe I'll even hit y'all up with a little pre-game content. So, please come on by, and I hope you guys do that. If you have a chance also, let's go ahead and find those channels and give me some more subscribers so I can actually just go live straight there rather than, clogging up the CallMeNakomi world with sports content. But it's all here, guys. I have it all here for you. I hope you love it. I hope you absorb it. And thank you in advance, guys. But before I even go any further, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you're watching or listening rather on, the podcast, please go ahead and rate and review those podcasts. I really appreciate it, and it will really, really help, guys. I really, truly appreciate it. Thanks in advance. You guys are great subscribers and fellows out there in the internet world, and I appreciate you guys. So go ahead and just let me know let me know by like, comment, subscribing, wherever you want to see more of CallMeNakomi World or my sports content. But let's get into the episode. Of course, like I said, this is Season 2. This is the last episode for Wheel of Time Season 2 on Amazon Prime. They're already, of course, greenlit Season 3, and I'm sure that they're well on their way of finishing it, and if not, already starting to film. I'm sure they're out there already filming some content for it. So we're here for it and ready for it to come through. And especially because this season definitely delivered for Wheel of Time. This episode that I'm going to be going over is the last episode for the season, which is called What Was Meant to Be. What Was Meant to Be. That's obviously one of the chapter titles, plenty of chapter titles that happened in the series, the Wheel of Time book series, but that's the name of this episode, is What Was Meant to Be. And, just giving you a quick heads up, this spoiler warning level is going to be a red. It's just going to basically be what it is. You know what I mean? I read the book series. I love the book series. I know everything that happened, front to back to front, top to bottom. So if I mention things here and there, maybe you might not catch it if you're not a seasoned reader. But I hope that you guys enjoy and catch the little Easter eggs in here and there. But I'm going to be basically talking about whatever. If you guys love that, great. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be asking questions and engaging with you guys. So please, I hope you basically go ahead and come back and let me know what you think and tell me your thoughts also. Okay. So if you haven't watched the episode 8, don't watch until after. Or if you haven't read the book series and don't want any kind of spoilers, I might not be the podcast for you, but I kind of feel like I'm still the podcast for you guys. Why? Because I don't spoil anything too badly. You know what I mean? Maybe I might touch on some things, you know what I mean? Or just highlight some things, but you might not even know what I'm all completely talking about. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, in the last chapter or the last book, I ain't going to do that. You know what I mean? I ain't going to catch y'all like that. But go ahead and watch. If you're the kind of people who basically like to, watch car wrecks, some people basically like to rubberneck and look at things that they're not supposed to look at. But at the same time, if it's enjoyable, who am I to judge? Who am I to stop you? Come on through and let's enjoy this. You know what I mean? All right. So let's go ahead and get all into it. Of course, as the last season's last episode started, it was with a flashback of Luther and Telamon. We have another flashback from 3,000 years ago. You have Luz and a ring of 8 men, and they have Ishi bound and shielded together in a room. And it seems as though he's on top of one of those seals, like what he broke Lanfear out of. They already sealed away the other Forsaken, and it's his turn. And he's telling them that how he needs to break the wheel, and it's going to be better for everyone instead of having to go through this over and over. And Ishi says that if they kill him, it'll just start back over again. And Lucerne is like, that's why we have to seal you away. You know what I mean? So then we get into the full intro, and it appears that it's the regular intro that we usually see with all the threads, and I love that intro completely. I'm just hoping that it will change a little bit as the seasons progress and other things happen, because although I love the Aes Sedai, this series, this show, this story is definitely not all about Aes Sedai. So I'm hoping that sooner or later it starts to transform into the bigger story that we're about trying to tell, because there's a lot of other threads in the weave, and we must tell that story. You know what I mean? So, all right. Then we go to morning. It's morning right outside of Faldara, and the White Cloak camp, and Dane and his father, Jephram, are preparing for their attack on the city. They said that the Watchers on the waves were called out for help, and they were the only ones to answer, which I'm like not surprised. At the same time, I'm just like, come on now. I said, what you doing out there? What you doing? How is it that they're the only ones who basically answered that call? But the White Cloaks, albeit how bad they are, they came through. So I appreciate the cannon fodder. And they're talking as a white haze looms close by, and they speak of the secret weapon that they have, and I'm just like wondering, what's that secret weapon? So they go on, and Lanfear is leading Moraine, Lan, and Rand through the ways. When they arrive at the way gate for Faldara, she opens it, telling Moraine that when the time comes, raise the banner. Then she blows them through the way gate with some really stink breath. You know what I mean? I've been hit by those kind of breath before. It's definitely could take you completely out of a church. Then she pulls a Nynaeve and sends them miles away from the city. So they they have to hoof it. Then she and Rand travel. My bad. They didn't travel. They disappeared mysteriously through a mist of supernatural attack. They didn't travel yet. Then we have Perrin and the maidens and the 3 maidens, and they approach Falm, and Avienda is just having this sinking feeling that many will die today, or many will wake from the dream, as she basically describes it, which is interesting because I've been listening to some things about the Matrix and the dream world, and just thinking to myself like, maybe it is the dream. Anyway, so Perrin, knowing that many people are going to die today, he tells Hopper to stay outside the city and wait for him. Aw, such a nice pet dog dad, Then you have Ishi overlooking Falm from his balcony, and when he comes in, he sees Lanfear sitting on his bed, and I'm just like, they must be really, really close friends from back in the day, like, because in college, I wouldn't, unless you had to be damn near family for me to let you sit on my bed, you know what I mean? But she tells him that she brought Rand, and Ishi thinks that it's too soon. It's just way too soon, and he's not ready to turn to the shadow unless he is pushed into a corner with his friends. So, he's just wondering what's Lanfear's thinking. And Lanfear does her whole, trust me, I know what I'm doing kind of bit, but he's not buying it, And by the way, there are 6 unbroken Forsaken seals in the room. And it just makes me think, ooh, this is so ominous. This happened, those present. Anyway, I'd avoid those personally in a hotel room like I avoid the minibar. I don't want no parts of those extra charges. Then you have deep outside of Falm in a thickening haze outside the city, and you have 5 altar boys, doing their whole Easter Sunday incense thing, approaching the city, and a couple of guards, see the mist approaching and move out to check it out. But they're overtaken by the White Cloaks, who are riding through the smoke screen and come into the city through the open gate. Secret weapon? Sure, I'll take it. That definitely put a little bit of a okey doke on them, and they had to figure it out. Anyway, and they get into the city and they start to move towards the tower. That's their goal, move towards the tower. Then you have Nynaeve basically doing her best Suldam cosplay, and as she has her brand new Demani Sita, another name we remember from the books, is lightly weeping when all they want is to know where the kennels are, And meanwhile, in the kennels, Egwene is being called to the front lines to fight. Rena is comforting her with her, on-brand type of, promises of retribution or restitution, basically, if she, doesn't follow her rules. And as she's there slapping war paint onto Egwene's face, she commands her to stand, and Egwene immediately doesn't stand, and then she forces her with a knife inside of her mouth, and I'm just like, she is the worst, absolute worst. And so Egwene finally does stand, but then for her trouble, Rena cuts off Egwene's braid, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's a gut punch. And I thought to myself, she's going to make you pay for that. She is never, ever, ever going to forget that. So then we have Mat sitting forlornly in a chair, when Padan Fain, who has a present for him, comes in, and he places the red ruby dagger on the ruby dagger on the table. And immediately, Mat is like, I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back these feelings for so long. Yeah, he's fiending for it. Let's get it on. He plays it off though, and acts like, I don't want none of those problems. I knew what happened last time, and I'm no hero from a Gleeman's Tale, And Padan Fain is like, stop lying, and this leaves him alone with his thoughts and the dagger. Then you have Nynaeve, who quickly learns how to use her new joystick, is inflicting pain on Sita as she begs to take the collar off. Then she breaks quicker than I'm sure all of her charges have, and tells them immediately that Egwene is going towards the tower. And Nynaeve decides to take Sita along with them to show them the way. But if she betrays them, she'll curse the first kiss her mother ever gave her father, which is a classic quote from the books. I loved it. Meanwhile, lurking around the palace is Rand, looking completely inconspicuous. I mean, a 6'5" Aiel man wearing a hoodie, obviously giving Clark Kent. Who's that guy? I don't know, either giving Clark Kent or Trayvon Martin to some. Then he spots Egwene across the courtyard heading towards the tower, and he's immediately called into action. Then right by the beach, you guys have walking, having a heart to heart. You have Moraine and Lan making their way along the beach, trying to figure out where they're going and where they are. He wants his bond back, he tells her, and he understands all her apprehension and her fears and everything going on, and cue the soap opera violins. And she reveals that what she said before was just trickery, because he's the more worthy one, not her. And she ends up granting his request and gets their bond back, and he feels whole again. Then the city is a kicked anthill when Perrin and the maidens get inside, and they find Ingtar, Masema, and Loyal has the horn case and says that a lady from Kyrian helped them. Really, a lady from Kyrian? I wonder, can anyone say Lanfear? Yeah, she's out there helping, doing the Lord's work. She's doing the Creator's work out there, guys. I'm actually about to turn to become a Lanfear fan. She's doing the Lord's work out there for her man, and I'm not mad at it. Go ahead. Go ahead to all those ladies who stick by their man out there. But then Loyal tells them that Egwene has been taken by the Seanchan, and they were planning on going to rescue her. And even though Ingtar is ready to run with the horn right now, like yesterday, Loyal tells them that, Loyal goes ahead and puts some adamantium in his bones and tells them that, hey, they're the heroes of today, damn it. It was such a great Avengers speech, bro. I loved it. Then, the Sildam are leading the Damani up to the top of the palace tower, and starts raining. They immediately start raining down fire on the attackers. And Egwene at first is reluctant until she sees the white cloaks down there, and then she's just like, okay, I'll make this concession at once, just this once. And she sends this huge ball of fire down there, and it's way bigger than any of the other Damanis. And I'm just like, hey, that's how they build them in the two rivers. Am I right? Exactly. But I'm telling you right now, if I hear one more good girl come out of Renna's mouth, punch her right in the face. I'm telling you right now, that's how I feel right now. Anyway, then we have Lord Tyreek and his voice, Peter Guns, is exiting the palace with their crew, trying to go figure out, how to go defend the palace. And Rand, of course, just steps out into their way. But before we have our first Blade Master versus Rand fight, which we were very much looking forward to, Rand turns Falmouth into Bucktown, and it's the home of the original gun clappers. You know what I mean? And he basically uses some weaves and cuts them all down. Tommy gun, you know what I mean? Fuck you, quick. And except for the voice, everyone dies. But then the voice performs ritual suicide and takes his own life, as they do in the book. Peace out, Peter Guns. Anyway. Carefully, making their way through the narrow streets, Ingtar sacrifices himself when he realizes that they've come to a kind of a bottleneck in these close quarter streets, and he dies in an ambush by the Seanchan soldiers. And he dies without giving no kind of admission of guilt. That would have been real cool if he would have kind of given that admission of guilt, whether or not he was or was not a dark friend, being that he was, burying the dark friends. But hey, I understand, if they just wanted to just let that dog lie. I feel it, no problem. Then we get a Forsaken info dump with Moraine and Lan, and she talks about, and he's asking, Lan is asking, why did Ishii only release Lanfear? And Moraine is like, probably because the other ones are way too dangerous to have out here. Yeah, I mean, at least they knew Lanfear and Ishii, they all best friends with Luz, and they were all best friends. So, and they also the other ones used to just fight amongst each other and try to take each other out, kind of like the Seanchan. It's kind of crazy. But at the same time, it's probably better that they didn't release the other ones. And it's kind of weird with the whole, not weird, but I get it. They were all powerful and very knowledgeable and successful Aes Sedai back 3,000 years ago in the Age of Legends. But Lanfear, Ishii, and Luz were all best friends. They were BFFs back in the day. So I wonder, kind of with the whole bedroom scene, it kind of made me think to myself, were they all kind of getting down with the poly? I feel it. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I'm not judging at all. But let me know in the comments below what you feel and what you think about that whole situation. I think it's very interesting to see how it goes or how it continues. Anyway, then you have Lanfear, who meets up with Bail Domon in the streets as, he's helping himself to a couple of unattended items on the street. He's nothing if not consistent at being an opportunistic thief. I'm telling you right now, Bail Domon is a goat for that. And it turns out she was the one who actually sold him the broken piece of Quendiar in earlier episodes. I think that was the first episode, actually. And she has 6 more very, very large pieces to give him. She spotted them too and figured, you know what? Let me go ahead and get those out the way. And she tells him that she wants him to take them, and she'll pay him to take them all and dump them into the deepest part of the ocean. She's so grimy. I love it. I'm actually starting to be a Lanfear fan. I never liked her, but I'm starting to like Lanfear. So anyway, and I'm just like, wow. Is she really out there helping man? Yes, she's out here helping her man. I'm not mad at it, girl. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. Ride or die. Anyway, continuing on, you have Ishi, who goes into Surok's I'm about to say her office, but her rooms, and he's dusting his hands off and to ask if Egwene is in place. Surok is like, yes, but she wants to be out there helping her crew defend Farm 2, but he's like, nope, I have another task for you, and tells her to take her Demanis to the ships and the tower and aim them towards the tower and wait for his signal, and then he wants her to shield, and when he's ready, to gentle Rand. That's some real deep things. He's thinking 4D chess here. Anyway, you still have Matt alone with a dagger and a rune, and alone in the room, and is driving him out of his mind. Never trust Potter and Fane in a smile. That blade is poison. Poison. But Matt knows that he can't touch it. So he thinks, and of course he comes up with a plan. He grabs a pole and some rags, and he makes himself a spear. You know what I mean? That's so dope. Sandara. Sorry, guys. My bad. Anyway, bless me. Then he lightsabers the door open. You know what I'm saying? He lightsabers the door open and frees himself, which Padan Fane sees it and immediately runs off like the coward he is, and leaves a guard that basically caught the spear real quick to his own fate. Be what it is. Egwene, after seeing the destruction that she's basically putting upon the citizens and civilians of Falm, she refuses to go on and launch any more attacks, and spits out her golden gag ball. That's what I'm talking about, girl. You take back your authority. You know what I mean? But of course, Rena is whack and basically pulls her down and puts a knife to her throat and starts to threaten her again. That's just how she is. She's grimy like that. And then you have Nynaeve and Elaine, and they're escorting Sita through the carnage of the streets. Right and left, people are dying and getting hit. And she sees the White Cloak start to catapult big, huge boulders into the city, and one hits the tower, throwing stones and dust all over the place. Then a crossbow bolt hits Sita in the neck, and she's down and she's gone. Immediately, that creates a ringing in Nynaeve's ears, and I'm just like, wow, that's kind of cool that the kind of the resonance kind of goes between them. And of course, then at least Sita doesn't have to worry about being recognized at the tower anymore. And the bracelet falls off of Nynaeve's arms as Sita dies. And I was like, interesting. Okay, that's how we doing it. All right, cool. Then another crossbow bolt hits Elaine in the leg and just takes her down to the floor. And Nynaeve comes over to help, but she can't channel because of her block. And Egwene has been hit by she was obviously caught in the blast from the catapult hitting the tower. Excuse me. But in the rubble, she basically frees herself from the rubble and comes up, and she sees a bunch of other Suldam and Damani dead all around, and she also sees the Adams falling off of the Damani's necks. And so I'm like, okay, so yeah, that's basically how it happens. Once one of them is dead, the other one is freed. Good to know. Note. Then unfortunately we see though Rena has also survived, and she raises to her feet also. Down, another dust down another dust-filled route. Perrin uses his eyes to spot a figure running towards them through the dust, and stops the maidens as they was about to light up Matt. They was about to hit Matt with several arrows. When Matt comes through, and then he gets a great reunion with Perrin, and they're like, okay, it's like, hey, how you doing? And he joins them, but just in time as the Shunchan are chasing him down. So the maidens and Masima go into action and start the wreck shop. And I'm saying, when I say the maidens are taking people out, and Masima is just like bow bow bow, he's all over the place. Masima, let me find out, bro. That he's a great addition to the cast as far as a fighter. I'm gonna enjoy seeing all of the maidens and Masima and the Aiel get into action all through the show. I can't wait for more of it. And then you have Rena, who is blaming Egwene for their failure, of course. And she begins to try to hurt Egwene. But when she gets close, Egwene slaps an Adom onto Rena's neck also. And she has the bracelet. And I'm like, ooh, here we go. And she is shocked to find out that she can even be channeled, and be leashed. But Egwene explains it to her that she realizes that y'all can be leashed too, or can channel also. Y'all just really, really weak. That's what it is. Y'all are really weak in the power. And she tries to strike Egwene and is knocked down by the first rule again. There you go. Then Egwene hangs Rena from a column by her Adom until Rena takes off her bracelet and releases Egwene. But Egwene lets her sit there and choke to death. Righteous kill, Egwene. I'm not mad at it at all. Righteous kill. And this is a whole new Egwene that we're dealing with now going forward. Just so y'all know. I hope y'all all know. Egwene has blooded herself. She's killed somebody deliberately. This is a whole new Egwene, and she's crazy strong. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And who finds her as she's dealing with the aftermath on top of the tower? Rand. Of course, he comes in. And then you have Matt telling Perrin and Loyal that he's seen Rand and he knows that he should be probably heading towards the tower to go get Egwene. And Loyal tells them that they must get the horn to Rand. But the box is locked. So it's a good thing that Matt has an app for that, He pulls out his spear and he basically uses it to burn a hole right into the case. And there you see a nice golden horn laying inside. And it was a little bit different than I thought it would look, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I like it. Cool design for the horn, guys. Cool design for the horn. And Rand is up on the tower apologizing to Egwene, for lying about being dead and thought it was the best thing for him. And they're about to get up and leave when, of course, Ishii spoils the party. And Egwene immediately tries to attack him, but Ishii throws her to the side, followed by Rand. And they're pretty much helpless. They're helpless kittens, kind of, against him. And he sends up the flare to signal Suroth in the ships. And Suroth's Damani begin to channel, and they shield and bind Rand, and he can't do nothing. So he's just there helpless. And as the soldiers approach, Perrin tells Matt to go ahead and take the horn to Rand. Then Perrin finds himself struggling against all the soldiers that are coming in and attacking them, when out of nowhere Dane Bornhall comes in and helps Perrin fight off the soldiers, and they're there fighting back to back, and I love it absolutely. It was really, really cool to see Dane and Perrin fighting back alongside each other back to back in that scene. And they fight along side by side until Perrin runs off, and Valda sees Perrin running through the palace and goes after him. And Perrin's puts a knife to Perrin's throat as he's trying to basically kill Perrin. But then out of nowhere, Hopper runs in and bites Valda's arm, saving Perrin once again. And he's there, trying to take an arm off of Valda. And I love to see it. But one of the with one fateful swing from an axe, Lord Bornhald, Jeffrey Bornhald, comes up and kills Copper with an axe. And it just was like, I loved their build up and pacing to that moment, because it just made it seem this like, oh, you knew it was, you thought it was coming because of the books, but then when you actually see it, you realize that that is going to affect Perrin in ways that he doesn't even know, and his eyes immediately go golden, and he just, he can only watch as Hopper's spirit leaves his body, and the spirit is hopping into the sky. And I'm like, oh my goodness, poor Perrin. And enraged by what happened, Perrin grabs an axe and goes after Jephram and kills Jephram right with a hit to the midsection, right in front of Dane. And Dane sees it, and Perrin is basically hacking at Bornhald. And Dane goes after Perrin, but is saved by Uno's spirit. We'll get back to that. And Loyal tells him to go on to Rand. All right. As Dane is dragged away by some other white cloaks and yelling, "Two Rivers! Two Rivers!" And I'm just like, oh, it's going to be on and popping between them. And on his own, on the other end, on his own, with the horn in hand, Mat exits on top of a battlement, and is confronted by bunch of soldiers, a ton of soldiers, and they're all about to come and rush him when he has no other choice. But Donald blows the horn and time disappears to start to slow down like it does in the book. I love it. And a mist grows up behind him as figures start to materialize and this form out of the mist. And at his flank, he turns to see the heroes of the horn, including Mother's Milk in a Cup. It's bloody Uno the Mesta. Yes. And I'm like, Uno is a hero of the horn. Perfect sense. I'll take it. Absolutely. And you have Brigida Silverbow there, and Amoretsu, and Arda Hawkwing, and Amoretsu somehow for some reason takes the horn back from Mat and puts it inside of her cloak. And I'm just like, what was the sense of that? Okay, whatever. Mat's there, and he's looking at them, and he's starting to remember, I'm one of you guys. And and Hawkwing confirms, like, yeah, you've fought by our side many times before, and I'm just like, that is so awesome. And then he turns around, ready to charge them, and he gives out his battle cry. Dove ande setovia segain. And I'm just like, yeah, time to roll the dice, boy. Here we go. I loved it. It was so awesome. And they charge towards it. And Amoretsu is handing out business. She's giving business all day, business hours, bow, 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 bow. And I'm loving it. Absolutely. She's a wrecking crew. So then we go back to Elaine and Nynaeve, and she can't channel, you know what I'm saying? So she uses her best ideas as far as being in wisdom and decides to push the crossbow bolt through the rest of the way. And I'm just like, ouch. I figured also she could have maybe broken it off and pulled it out, but hey, however she basically feels is the best way. I'm not mad at it. Go ahead and do the thing. You know what I mean? Maybe it would have caused a little bit more damage pulling it two different directions instead of just going straight the rest. Anyway, wisdom's going to do what a wisdom's supposed to do. So I'll take it. And they head towards Egwene also. Then Ishii tries one last time to get Rand to change to the shadow, but Rand respectfully declines the offer. As he does. He's just like, I ain't never changed. I don't care what you say. I have never chosen the shadow, and I never will. So do your worst. And as he's talking, he realizes that Mat has gotten to the top of the tower and is rising up behind Ishii, and decides and turns his spear around and throws the spear at Ishii, but it passes right through Ishii and stabs Rand. Oh, so you get the viewing from Min, but he didn't exactly stab him, but he stabbed him. So it's just like, oh, here we go. And Ishii's image just disappears. The one that the spear flew right through, it disappears. And Mat runs right over and pulls the blade out and collapses, and they all collapse to the ground. And Ishii appears again further away in the tower. So he must have been using some kind of channeling. Mirrors of Mist. Yeah, invisibility. We'll see. We'll learn more. Waffle. Anyway, and is about to strike them down when Egwene bloody Alvear gets up, half braid and all, and defends them both from a weave with a shield that she makes. And I'm just like, yeah, buddy, here we go. And he's just like, and Ishii's like, you can't face down one of the chosen child. And she's just like, sheed, the light I can't. talking about, cud, I got this, you know what I mean? I does this. And she creates a shield, propelling blow after blow as she's protecting Rand and Matt. And Moraine and Lan see the explosions coming from the top of the tower. And then Moraine notices shielding being done and realizes they must be shielding Rand. So Lan warns that there might be innocent people out there in those ships, but Moraine is like, I'll kill 1,000 people if he lives. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He has to live no matter what, you know what I mean? And shit, she already basically walked away from her woman, and so she's just like, F them ships. Rand must live. Nothing else matters right now. Nothing else matters. And so Lan has no other time to debate anyway, because soldiers start to descend down on top of them. So Moraine begins to channel, and Lan dispatches the vermin. That's just it's just like old times, you know what I mean? Just like old times. He's slashing throats. He's catching bullets with his teeth. You know what I mean? He's doing all kind of extras, and I love it. Egwene is doing her best at the top of the tower as the attacks start to intensify right and left. But right as her shield's about to give out, Perrin slides in the spot with Uno's shield, and I'm just like, oh, he has Uno's shield, and he's adding extra strength to Egwene's shield that she has. And Nynaeve and Elaine arrive just in time also. And Elaine has to be the one who heals Rand. I mean, I don't know who could have did it with the Shadow Logoth dagger. But either way, she heals Rand in some way, shape, or form, leaving a really funky looking scar. I mean, it's very interesting, but at the same time, I don't know, it's kind of giving me B-movie-ish. It is what it is. That's what I say. It is what it is. It looks like swirled ice cream. That's what it looked like to me. But it was what it was. He's healed. And Moraine Moraine is there. She takes so long that to do this whole weave that I'm just like, was she knitting a quilt? I mean, what was she doing? But finally, she sends the weaves down into the sea and damages the ships and Damani alike. You know what I mean? And violating all three oaths much? I mean, not the lying part, but at the same time, I mean, can't she do that? I'm waiting for more explanations, Rafe. I need to see it. I need explanations. Anyway, Rand is freed from his shield when that happens, and he steps forth with a superheated sword. His sword is just like glowing hot, and he stabs Ishii right in the heart and pushes it all the way down to the hilt. You know what I mean? And his father, when he pulls it out, the sword is burned away. You know what I mean? And it leaves a heron burned into one of his hands. So there goes one of his marks. And Ishii turns into ash as he falls on the floor. He's like, I feel nothing. Okay? Thanos snap. Anyway, once she's done, Moraine uses her fire for good this time. And giving it the form of a dragon, she sends it up, which is, I guess, the banner, not a banner specifically of the dragon, but a real dragon. A dragon? What's a dragon? I don't know what's a dragon. Anyway, never mind. It climbs a tower and breathes fire as the people rejoice and the maidens look up from below, and Aviendha says, Kara Karn. Here we go. I wonder where they're going in the third season. I wonder where they're going. And the Heroes of the Horn go back into the queue. I mean, hey. You know what I mean? Later, feeling very pleased with herself, Lanfear saunters back into Ishii's rooms to find the remaining seals have all already been broken, and a woman is playing with a spider web. It's Mogadine, and she's played by Layla Costa. I think that's how you say her name, Layla Costa. Don't take it. Don't kill the messenger. Anyway, she tells them that Ishii let them all out because she thought that Lanfear was going to betray him. Why would he think that? I wonder. Because she did. She tries to attack Mogadine, but immediately is shielded with a web of power, completely shielded in. And I'm just like, oh, that's really cool. And Mogadine warns her to stay away from Rand. Matter of fact, stay away from all 5 of them. And then she, because they're all 5 of them are theirs, not hers. And then she disappears through a black cloud. And as soon as she does, Lanfear is released, and all she can do is breathe, light help you, Rand al'Thor. And that's the way the episode ended. I mean, I'm glad if you guys stuck with me for all of that, because it was a good sized episode, and I wanted to do it actually in order, and give a lot of my thoughts and details that I noticed in the show. So, it's a little bit longer of my recaps, but it is what it is. I'm going to also go into some food of thought for what I thought about the season. Man, I'm just like, I wonder if those 8 men, I wonder if those 8 men who were shielding Ishii were linked. I don't think that they were. They're not supposed to be men. They're not supposed to be linked. But I wonder if they're changing anything up in the show. It looked like like 8 separate weaves being shielding and binding Ishii. But yeah, I just wonder all the different things that they're going to change up, or kind of finagle to help them, do what they got to do. But I thought that was interesting, and how far will Lanfear go to help Rand? I mean, backstabbing Ishii, yeah, definitely. Wanting to get rid of the seals, yep, check. And I hope Bail Domon is okay, you know what I mean? But I wonder how far Lanfear will go. Is she gonna get him a tutor? We'll see. We'll see. And I wonder, is Bail Dormont okay? I hope so, because, if he was let into the room and she found him, I'm sure that some of that dust was from his ass too. Anyway, and Hopper dies. Goodness, guys, Hopper dies, and it starts paring down one arc, and he kills Jeff from Bornhold also, which sends him down another story arc. And I'm just like, okay, here we go. I love those 2 story arcs. Of course, Hopper more than the Jeff from Bornhold, and he obviously takes the place of the 2 White Cloaks that Perrin killed in the first book. But at the same time, this being a little bit more of a high-ranking one, and Dane's father right in front of Dane, he sees this happen. So yeah, there's no hiding or alibis. Yeah, you did that. So it's going to be very interesting. And does that send Dane down to the 2 rivers to find him? He was yelling 2 rivers as he was being dragged away. So here we go. I hope we do get Perrin going back to the 2 rivers. I wonder if anybody else is going to follow him down back there. I hope they don't change the book too much, but I wouldn't mind, I guess, you know what I mean? But everybody else has bigger things to do. And I don't know. What exactly would Perrin have to go back home for? His family's still there. Yeah, maybe he goes back. Anyway. And does his eyes stay golden from now on going forward? I kind of wonder about that, and I figured that that was probably the trigger that he probably needed to do that. And also, does he keep the axe? He was using a sword through some of the show. Then he picks up the axe when he was, killing Jeffrem. So, but he also had Uno's shield, and I'm just like, okay, I'm thinking that as the heroes disappeared, Uno should have disappeared too. I need to rewatch that to see if Uno was one of the ones who disappeared with them, and if that shield stays with Perrin. I need to rewatch that whole ending parts to find that out. And how about Uno becoming a hero of the Horn? That was pretty cool. I really like that. I could see him being a hero of the Horn. He was definitely fearless and absolutely, virtuous, and moral in what he was doing. So I could see that definitely. He had the guts to stand up to the High Lady with the other golden horn where she got impaled on. Hey, that's the way you go out. Standing your ground, and is Ishii gone for good? That's another question that I want to ask, is Ishii gone for good? I mean, he, in the books, he makes several appearances, even in the 3rd book, even though after Rand thought that he killed Ishii the first 2 times, he shows up for a 3rd time, and I'm just like, maybe we could get away from that trope. I really, maybe we could get away from that part of the storyline where Ishii keeps on coming back until he stops coming back, but we'll see how that goes. And I see no reason for him to return. That's basically my thoughts. I see no reason for him to return in the next one, unless the Shadow wants to annoy Rand and us. How long will it take for Nynaeve to break through her block? I wonder. I'm not gonna. Hey, it's full spoilers, so I hope it doesn't take 8 seasons. Or whatever that was, 6 seasons. I hope it doesn't take that long. But hey, we're going to see. And is she going to start this whole scared of the world type storyline, which I absolutely hated. This scared of the world storyline that she had for several of the books. Maybe she's definitely going to basically, second guess herself, especially with the fact that she's trusted Leandrin so wholeheartedly and it got them all almost killed, so it might start her down some real questioning herself, type plot lines. And with Egwene being so strong now, I mean, how much stronger is she? And she's not using those hand gestures to when she kind of just threw it with her body. I was like, okay, sure, I guess. But that was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool. And I'm just like, are they going to go ahead and just put her into being accepted? Because she's much stronger. Elaine has done some things and in the field. So I think they're definitely a little bit further ahead than regular accepted. And are they still going to try to set her up with a dragon? The Elaine, and that's really interesting. I was trying to figure, how's that gonna all go? Oh, sorry. I meant, are they going to still try to set Egwene up as a dragon? I hope not. I hope that basically, they don't have the whole 5-headed dragon monster thing. Yeah, there's a 5-headed monster, but there should only be one dragon. Lews Therin Telamon was the only dragon that time, and I hope that they continue to do that. And it stays Rand. Rafe, don't get crazy. Don't overdo it. Thank you in advance. And so now Matt has a spear. Does he have? I'm assuming that this is his Ashandarai, and makes me think to myself, please, I hope that they still have the snakes and foxes in this show. Please and thank you, because that just lends a whole nother level of the supernatural, multi-level multiverse that this show exists in. So please, I appreciate you if you still have the snakes and foxes, even though he already has his Ashandarai. So, and that would put him in good standing with the Aiel due to the fact that he has a spear when he does meet the Aiel, But why did Amoresso take back the horn? That's all I want to know. Please explain. And where will it be when they need it again? Just questions. And Rand has proclaimed himself atop Somahead. He meets Elaine, gets his scar, and has his first Heron marked brand. I mean, Mazel Tov, Mr. Dragon. You obviously, I don't see how they would have the others be possible dragons when he's like checking off things off the mark. Even though, yeah, Moraine made that happen. I get it. You know what I mean? But come on now. Go ahead and let the man have get his love. You know what I mean? And also, I'm waiting for him to meet with Aviendha and see what she thinks, or is she going to continue to follow around Perrin, which would be interesting. Their paths will cross, and so they'll have their time to make time. You know what I mean? But hey, and I mean, obviously, because she says Kara Karn, so she's obviously going to have to meet him and tell him that he's the Kara Karn, or he might be the Kara Karn until he goes to Roydion. We'll see what happens. And he needs a teacher. So there's a lot of things that's going on that's still going on with Rand, and I hope to see where it goes. And where's Professor Logain? Still in Kyrian, probably with Min. And the sword training. He needs some sword training because Turok probably would have taken him apart. Yeah. So, yeah. Where the hell is Min? I say again. Anyway, so. Lastly, I also hope that Liandrin gets her comeuppings and is outed as a dark friend. But that probably won't happen until Nynaeve, Elaine, or Egwene is able to talk to the Aes Sedai, and how that's going to happen with the fact that they ran away, and now Moraine is probably, considered a dark friend too, and probably is on a list to be stilled. You know what I mean? So you'll see how that all goes. But I hope Siuan just thinks about it and realizes that she had to do what she had to do and doesn't hold it against her. But she probably will. Anyway, so that was basically, my thoughts. And I like where the show is going. Absolutely. I think that it definitely redeemed itself since the last season. I didn't really, last season was last season. It wasn't great to me. It was a good introductory season. You know what I mean? But at the same time, is a lot of storylines that was a little bit off and didn't make sense to me, but it's starting to make sense, a lot more sense with the storylines going on right now. It's starting to make sense, and I love the action sequences and the magic and the showing of magic and the way that they used magic in the show. the season truly is redeeming itself, and I don't have as much uncertainty as I did with the last season. I feel like some effects feel a little B-movie-ish to me, like I said before. Some things are great, like the fades are great at the same time, and the Trollocs are good too. I mean, how realistic can you really truly make them? They look great, absolutely. But that Scar, some of the magic use I think could be a lot more just damage, from it. And that's just like pew 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 as that Ishii was doing towards the shield that Egwene had. I feel like obviously if he really wanted to break through that shield, he could have done that. If I'm going by the books, but it is what it is. I hope that they continue to try to increase the quality of the show, and just make good content as they've been doing. I really love it. I'll be here for the next season, of course, and giving you what I feel about it. Also, though, I really feel like an idea that I had for the scar was maybe they could have just made it a regular scar and healed, but maybe just dark rather than looking like a, ice cream swirl. It just looked really not quite right. It just didn't look quite right. And honestly, the only other issue that I have is the fighting sequences. Personally, I think that they're great. At the same time, I don't know, maybe it's just my fan casting. It's not for the actual cast who was on the screen, it's behind the screen. I would have really, really loved if you guys could have gotten the fight choreographers from like Into the Badlands. I think Daniel Wu is the name of the star of that show. He was amazing, and the fight sequences for all of the characters, even the people who you didn't think that were great fighters or great action movie people, they did amazing in their fight scenes. And I think that more, especially with the fact that it's a little bit more mixed martial arts, it would be great to have, just to keep on improving. I just hope that you guys keep improving. But I think that they're all moving in the right direction, plain and simple. So, but that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for my Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 8 review. I deeply enjoyed it, so I hope you did also, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that, I hope that you come back for my other content reviews. Like I said, I'm going to be reviewing the Expanse series and also Octavia E. Butler books, starting with Dawn from the Lilith's Brood series. Please comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, rate me wherever you want to see more CallMeNakomi world. And please come on back. Also, watch my sports content, y'all. Y'all know y'all like sports out there. I'm talking about football. I'm talking about basketball. We get the Lakers season, and NBA season is starting to get up and running. So here we go with it. I'm very, very excited. Follow me, guys. CallMeNakomi on Instagram. CallMeNakomi, the number 1 on X. And also you can always write me at CallMeNakomi@gmail.com. Remember, I'm here for you guys. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think. And please take care of one another. You can always find me on YouTube at Apple Podcasts. Sorry, brain freeze. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Rate me and review me there, and hopefully you guys will get more exposure and more content to. I could get more exposure and create more content for you guys. Until next time, though, please take care of each other again, and may you always find water and shade.